My name is Shannon L. I'm from Long Island, New York, and I've been sober for 13 months.
My name is Liz O. I'm from Connecticut, and I'll have a year on November 26th, 2012.
My name is Ezra Kaplan. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and my sobriety date is July 23rd, 2008.
My name is Anna Weiler. I'm from Austin, Texas, and I've been sober since October 17, 2009.
So my name is Josh. Josh Beck. I'm originally from southeastern PA. I'm 20 years old, and I was using for about 6 or 7 years since I was 12. Started just smoking weed, and it quickly advanced, and things got out of control. And I asked for help when I was a few months after my 18th birthday. And from there, I went to a treatment center called The Ranch in Nunley, Tennessee. And in the beginning, it was just a place to get away. You know, I didn't have any intention on staying sober. I just wanted a change in my life. And I started using in treatment. And after a few weeks, I got called out, and I started to believe what my counselors were saying. And I had a lot of trust in the group that surrounded me. And so I had an extremely incredible experience there, and I walked through a lot of fears, and I did a lot of things I didn't think I could do. And then from there, I was referred to come to Chapter 5, which is in Prescott, in town here. It's a halfway house. It's very AA based, and it has a lot of structure, chores, curfew, no women kind of thing. So I spent 6 months there, and I got really heavy into AA. I learned a lot, and I started feeling like I was a part of. I started feeling like I belonged here, and it wasn't just a small portion of my life. I started to believe that it would become a huge purpose for my life.
Well, I went to my first treatment center in Connecticut, and they recommended Pia's Place, which is right down the road from Treehouse, where I'm at right now. I learned that my addiction problems and my alcoholism was much more than the drugs and alcohol itself. I learned to uncover the feelings that I've had for a really long time and deal with them. And I learned that I could be sober and live a sober life.
I got to Prescott, Arizona via Utah. I actually got into some trouble in college and ended up dropping out, living at my parents' house, and then realizing that something needed to change. So I went off to a wilderness rehab in Utah, and then after that they suggested I need a little bit more, so I came down to Prescott and I've been here ever since.
I came here in 2009 to go to Prescott College, and so for me my situation's a little bit unique because I came here specifically for school without really being aware that there was a recovery community at all. And then came back this time around because I knew I wanted to go back to school and discovered it was a recovery town.
Well, I spent a long time trying to get sober, and I lived in a couple other communities similar to this that have a lot of halfway houses and treatment centers in several different states and different places. But so this is similar to those in that respect, that there's a lot of opportunities for treatment and sober living. But the difference, I think, is the amount of young people that are so closely knit and so closely involved. It's definitely like a community. It feels like a family to me. I feel like I've developed a family of choice since I've been out here. And for me, that's really why I stayed. I'd never had that sense of belonging before. And I just think that everybody out here makes you feel so welcome and just invites you in, and then you just sort of stay because of that.
It's very different from my experience in New York that I've had. It's a huge population of, like, compared to the size of Prescott, like, so many people are getting sober that, like, everywhere you go you meet someone that's in the program, and that's very comforting and that's awesome. And there's a huge portion of young people that are out here trying to get sober, and they're very gung-ho about it, and it's awesome. Like, I've had more fun in the program, like doing stuff like ASCAPA, like Arizona State Conference of Young People, doing events with that than I've had in a really long time, or ever even. And the meetings are huge, and there's a variety of meetings. You can find a meeting for whatever stuff you're going through. If you like old-timer meetings, you can find it. If you like young people's meetings, you can find it, and everything in between. So I love it. It's great.
Well, one of the incredible things here is just the pure number of young people getting sober. I've really never experienced, I've traveled to a lot of different places, and I've never experienced quite the concentration of recovery in such a close-knit community. And so, you know, every meeting I go to, there's always some young people. And for me, especially somebody who's been sober for a little while, I really enjoy the opportunity to get to work with newcomers all the time.
It's extremely concentrated. It's a very small town with a lot of young people and just people of all ages in recovery. It's hard to go anywhere without seeing someone you don't know if you are involved and if you have been around for a little bit. It's extremely hard to hide, and I'm a really good hider. I was the best at hide and seek, and that's what I feel like made it feasible and made it like an incredible scary, because it was hard for me to fly under the radar. I still tried as best I could, but I didn't succeed very well.
Prescott's recovery community is different from when I've gone to meetings back in Connecticut. There were very few young people. There wasn't as much fellowship as there is here. And out here, when I go to a meeting, I'm going into a room full of tons of people my own age that are going through the exact same experiences, and it's just really easy to make friends and bond with everybody, and everyone's really welcoming. And there's tons of different young people sober events that go on here that didn't happen in Connecticut. And I don't know, it's almost like a sober high school, but in a good way.
So while I was finishing up my degree at Prescott College, I was actually working at Treehouse, and it was a really cool experience to be able to work somewhere and try to get somewhere, you know, a program off the ground, and also be going to school at the same time. It definitely made my life really, really busy, but I was able to figure out how to balance those things and do so with a lot of support, and that's definitely benefited me greatly today.
I live at Treehouse, and that is basically a sober dorm for people who want to go back to college sober.
I got hooked up with Molly McGinn, who owns Treehouse, and I came to Treehouse. And since I've been at Treehouse, I've gone on 2 incredible trips. I was in Tibet for 5 weeks, taught kids English, studied some Amdoke, and then this past summer I went to Spain, and I walked a pilgrimage through northern Spain, from southern France to northwestern Spain, and then shortly after my return, I started working here.
I don't know, I feared that I was going to be incompetent or that I was going to mess up again, because I don't have a very good history with school. I've been to several different schools and either dropped out or got kicked out or just never gave it a shot, and I didn't want to do that again. So I was afraid that I would just stop going or lose motivation. As soon as I got here, we pretty much discussed like what my future plans were and like what I wanted to do. And that's a question I haven't thought about in a really long time. And the staff here helped me with all my financial stuff about school. They took me to go register. They were just really supportive, and was the motivation that I needed and the assistance that I needed with everything. So it was great.
How did you do this semester?
I did really well, and I did well last semester. This is my second one. I have a 4.0 GPA right now, which is great, which is something I've never had in my entire life. I've always been intelligent, but I never applied myself, so this is a really good feeling.
Comprehension was a big one for me. I was diagnosed with severe ADD, and it was nearly impossible to hold my attention in class, and so I guess it was more so just fearing that those same traits that I always had growing up would rise back to the surface, and pretty much just failure. I didn't think that I'd be able to succeed. I never thought that schooling was my route. I thought that I don't know, I had no idea what I was going to do, but I was certain it didn't involve school for a long time.
I had about 6 months when I went back to school. I started taking a couple classes at the community college, and then after that, I went back and tried and finished my 4-year degree at Prescott College.
Congratulations.
Thank
What
you.
did you study?
I studied secondary education, got my degree in secondary education with an emphasis in chemistry, and now I teach at a local high school. I teach both chemistry and biology. Probably Mary Hickey. You want to try it again?
It's quickly becoming Mary. Yeah. It's not Sarah. It's not Sarah. No, but honestly, I love everyone that I work with. It's not hard to be honest here, and it's not hard to speak my opinion, and that's huge for me because I never felt comfortable doing so. So it's all around good staff for the most part.
Probably Sarah, because I've known her for years. She's a fabulous person, a great sponsor. I love her to death. She saved my life. I mean,
green cowboy boots.
I could go on and on.
do, and I love them. Sorry.
And crusty.
I would say that Sarah and Ryan, I have a lot of respect for both of them. That they're definitely, I guess I can relate the most to what they're doing. They know them both the most. And I just absolutely love watching them be directly involved with the people at Treehouse. They're very involved in their day-to-day lives, and I have a lot of respect for that. I think they're doing really good things.
Good answer.
When I was 3, I got a nerd stuck up my nose and had to go to the hospital to remove it because I stuck it up there. Yeah.
I have 12 toes. I don't have 12 toes. When you're going to see clown shoes, I have to get them specially made so they can fit on my toes.